So, one of the questions that's been on my mind for quite some time is the question of should you change who you are? And that's what I want to explore in this video today because sometimes it seems like the only way we can move forward with what we want out of life is if we totally and maybe even fundamentally change who we are as a person. But before I can do that, the question that should be answered before we begin to explore that is, can we actually change who we are? And the answer to that is kind of a little bit of yes and a little bit of no, which I get is super frustrating, but let me explain. So, on the one hand, yes, of course we can change who we are because we always have a choice in the way that we act and react, whether that is physically or mentally or emotionally, whatever it is. We always have the choice to behave in certain ways compared to other ways. So, absolutely, we always can change who we are. But on the other hand, it's not so cut and dry. It's not just a simple matter of erasing the person that we used to be and becoming a completely different person. Because at the end of the day, the person that we used to be, regardless of what choices that we are making now, that person is always there. That person is always going to be a part of us. Those memories, those experiences, those actions, they all form who you are. So it's definitely not as simple as can you change who you are, because of course you can make choices, but it's not that those choices are totally changing you, because everything that you have done up to now is still with you. So to answer the question of can you change who you are, I would say that regardless of what choices you make, you're not actually changing who you are. What you are rather doing is deciding what kind of a person you want to be. And with that in mind, let's jump into answering the question, should you change who you are? Now, for me, I know that there is a lot of frustration to see other people moving forward in ways that you want to move forward, but you just can't seem to find how to do that. And it's especially frustrating when you can see people who are doing wrong and doing the wrong thing, but still getting ahead. And I know that we're all guilty of, at one time or another, having the thought that, well, if they aren't going to follow the rules, or if they're just going to be a bad person and get what they want, then why shouldn't I change to fit that and get the things that I want? It's a frustration that we all have, and it's something that I still get on a regular basis. This idea that there are so many people, for example, in the business that I'm trying to get into right now, in the self-improvement space, that are so comfortable with just breaking all of the ethical and moral standards that you'd hope someone in this industry would align to, but they break all of that to get ahead, to make major money in a really, really quick way. And sometimes it's very, very easy for that temptation to arise in your mind that if it's so easy for them and all they had to do was throw all morals and ethics out the window to become a multimillionaire over the course of a couple of years, then why shouldn't I go about and do that? And that's kind of the extreme end of things. And when I started to explore this question for myself of should you change who you are, what it came down to for me, and I'm hoping that this is going to make sense for you in this video as well, is that it all depends on why you want to change who you are. Are you changing who you are for yourself, or are you changing who you are for others, or for what other people think of you, or what other people you think they should think of you, if that makes sense? And what I found in life is that if you change yourself to suit the opinions of other people, and not because it's something that you want to do or something you want to achieve in your life, eventually what happens is that you make yourself miserable and you start to really resent the other people in your life. I've seen it happen time and time again in relationships, for example, where somebody gets into a relationship and they try and change everything about themselves to suit the other person, which always starts with the noblest intentions, but over time it just leads that person to feeling miserable and resenting their partner, and eventually things fall apart, or even worse, they stay together and they are both miserable for many, many years to come. So, the eventual outcome of changing yourself to suit other people is oftentimes resentment. Now, this isn't to say that you shouldn't adjust your attitude and behaviors around certain people. Absolutely, you definitely should. If something makes a person uncomfortable, then try your best to accommodate them, but never to change who you are, because eventually, as I said, you will come to resent that person. If there's someone that you want to continue having in your life, then that's not a healthy foundation to build a future relationship off of. So, really, you should only change who you are if it is for you. And I get that that sounds a little bit selfish, but at the end of the day, the only person that really has to accept who you are is you. And if you are changing yourself because you think it's going to make other people like you, and it's not something that you actually want, you're going to end up not liking yourself. And if you don't like yourself, it's going to be so much more difficult for other people to like you as well. And it kind of comes around in this weirdly vicious circle where you are changing yourself to make other people happy, but in the meantime, you made yourself unhappy. And because you did that, it makes it less likely for other people to be happy with you as well. So, should you change who you are? Maybe. For me, the last kind of 7 or 8 years of my life have all been about changing who I am. And at first, I did it for all the wrong reasons, and that's why I didn't progress. And that's what made me even more miserable. No matter how many self help books I read, or how many seminars I went to, how many courses I took, it didn't matter because I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. And once I really started to work on myself, but for myself, then I found my progress came a lot faster and I became a lot happier over time. So, should you change who you are? Yes, but only if it is for you. Otherwise, you run the risk of building resentment towards others and also towards yourself as well, because you may very well become someone that you don't actually want to be. So I hope that does answer the question of should you change who you are. If you found this video useful, make sure to leave a like on it because it really helps to boost the video in the YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you do subscribe so you can get more videos like this on a weekly basis. I put out 3 videos every single week, so make sure that you do subscribe so that you can get immediate access to those videos when they come out. I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. So if you think that it is okay to change who you are, if you think you shouldn't, if you agree, if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear it in the comment section down below. So make sure that you leave your thoughts in the comments. But otherwise, thank you very much for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos very soon.